Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk to you a little bit more about food allergies. And specifically, I want to talk to you about the opposing views. We have modern medicine and we have alternative medicine. But I want us to factor in DISH because I believe that both views point to DISH. So as always, this is not medical advice, and this is a very high bird's eye view because I am not a medical doctor and I am not an alternative specialist of any sorts. But what they have been telling us is what I'm sharing with you. And so I'm just combining what they've said and I'm pointing it towards DISH for something to consider. Okay, so let's start off. And this is the main part I want to focus on here is because I think DISH is what makes acute becomes chronic inflammation. And so just the inflammation part of food allergies is what this is going to be about. So let's get started. Okay, so for the three viewpoints, what we're going to cover, first of all, we're going to cover the modern medicine view, and then we're going to cover the alternative medicine view, and then lastly, I'm going to talk to you about my DISH view. And when we cover each one, what we're going to address is three areas. The first area we're going to address is the role of inflammation as it pertains to food allergies. And the second thing that we're going to address is how it's framed in the big picture of their viewpoint. And the third thing is the key point of the inflammation as it pertains to the food allergy. So as far as the modern medicine view goes, I fed all kinds of information into ChatGPT because there's so much information on the internet, and I condensed it down to the main points. And if you're interested in knowing about that, I have the PDF in the bottom in the description if you'd like to take a look at that. But generally speaking, the role of inflammation in modern medicine is that it is the downstream effect, not the it's not the cause of it, but it's as a result of the allergy. And also it's what's happening is after the immune system identifies a food as bad. And so it's something has already taken place. And basically it's the attacker cells that I call them attacker cells or helper cells or whatever you want to call them. I try to keep it simple on this channel, but they have gone in and they've started attacking. And so that's when modern medicine steps in and says, we have a food allergy because the attack has taken place. As far as how it's framed, the food protein is recognized as a threat. And because it's recognized as a threat, the antibody cause what is histamine and other factors to come into play. And so the modern medicine is looking at all these reactions that are taking place because of the reaction to the food. And so that is this reaction that's going crazy is the inflammation that is occurring as far as the modern medicine view goes. And so the key point about the inflammation is that you have the inflammation and there's the reaction. The reaction is the inflammation. Now let's look at how alternative medicine sees these areas. For alternative medicine, the role of inflammation is it thinks it's an upstream and ongoing contributor to the allergy problem. And so it can weaken it can weaken how well we are able to fight food so that it does not become an allergy. And it's focusing on the before of the food allergy. And so how is this framed? Well, for alternative medicine, they think there is a chronic low-grade inflammation, and you often hear how, well, this food causes this inflammation, this food causes this inflammation. That's the alternative medicine view when it comes to food allergies and inflammation. They think this inflammation is what is making the immune system more reactive. So what is the key point of inflammation as it pertains to food allergies then? They think inflammation is part of the problem. Whereas if you remember, modern medicine says inflammation is the problem. Well, alternative medicine thinks it's just modern medicine. What they think is the food allergy happens, now we have inflammation. Alternative medicine thinks we have inflammation, we're going to get food allergies. So so if we look at this, they are agreeing on one thing. They're saying inflammation is present when there are food allergies. Doesn't matter when they're saying it's happening or whether or not it's the main cause or effect or whatever, inflammation's there, okay? So what if we're able to make that inflammation not be there? Would the food allergies not be there? That's where dish comes in. So if you remember, if you've been following me at all, or if you're new to this channel, DISH is the acronym I have given for Defensive Individual Shield Hypothesis. And it's my view of what I think is going on and why there's two types of people when it comes to health challenges. So what is this role of DISH? It acts as a pre-sorting system. So if you can imagine pre-sorting, it's knowing whether or not something is a good guy or bad guy before it even gets into the body. That's the role that DISH plays. And so it helps to regulate how many good guys or how many bad guys are present. So let's say, for example, good guys. You'll see if you look at my PDF, it'll talk about how there's several different nutrients that are lacking when there are food allergies present. Well, what if it's because this pre-sorting is missing? And when this pre-sorting is missing, then those nutrients go low. So what if we enable the pre-sorting to where the body is no longer rejecting those needed nutrients? And by doing that, then the levels automatically do go up. And so that's where I think the disconnect is happening. Because understanding DISH and realizing I needed to make it manually, because it was not automatically doing what it was supposed to be doing, that enabled me to control inflammation. So how is this framed? When DISH is functioning properly, the body discerns good from bad and inflammation is avoided. Because I think when DISH is malfunctioning, good guys are lost. And that's where the inflammation is coming from, is because the body is rejecting these good guys and it doesn't want to keep rejecting them because the body knows it needs to have them to be able to function properly. And when DISH is not working right, there's a dysregulation as far as whether or not something is a good guy or bad guy. And I think that's why we think that our body's attacking us when it comes to autoimmune diseases, because the body is attacking the good guy. And so why is it doing that? Well, it's because the information was programmed wrong in this pre-sorting. And so if you want to know more about DISH 101, I have a free course that gives you a quick breakdown. It's over a 6-day period, so you have time to process it and come up with your own thoughts in regards to it and not just taking my word for it. It's 5 short videos. I think all of them combined is less than an hour long. And if you're interested in knowing more about that, I'll put that down below as well. And so the key point of DISH, and when it comes to inflammation, is a working DISH, inflammation is in check. A non-working DISH, inflammation is out of control. And so the reason I know this is because I used to be allergic to so many foods and so many environmental factors and just so many things I was allergic to, and I'm not anymore. And it's like, it's just so simple and so powerful that I just have to share it. And so that's what I'm doing on this channel. And so one thing to keep in mind though is DISH is not in place of either one of those methods, regardless of which method you're choosing to use. It does complement those methods though, because for me in the past, modern medicine would not work for me until I factored in a faulty DISH. Alternative medicine didn't work for me either until I factored in a faulty DISH. It's that powerful. When I realized my DISH was faulty and I figured out how to correct it, then whatever I did started working for me. And so it's just that's powerful. But it's not that simple. And that's why I have a Skool community I've started on the Skool platform. It's called the Disher Tribe. And I'm just trying to share as much information as I can with you, realizing that it's not medical advice. It's my journey and what I discovered. And it's not to say, hey, you need to do this or you need to take that. What it is, it's like saying, hey, you want to fly? Well, shoot, you need to know there's gravity. Once you realize and understand there's gravity, then there's a way for you to fly. And so that's basically all DISH is really about, is understanding what is going on and why we are attacking our own selves and how to stop that, or how I was able to stop that. And so the mini course is called DISH 101, and you can find it on my website. I'll put a link down below. So that's it. And I hope this has enlightened you a little bit and that you have Above all else, make sure you have questions because questions are the key.